Welcome back to the Migration Minute, brought to you by the Wild Faith Podcast. Tonight we have another special guest lined up for you guys. We have Elliott Snider in the house from North American Waterfowler app and the Freelance Duck Hunter. Elliott, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me back on, man.
Hey, appreciate you hopping on, man. We had a blast talking with you last time, and I'm sure you've been a busy guy this fall.
Yeah, the season's off and rolling. It's a crazy time of year. It is busy for sure.
I hear you. Yeah, we just a group of guys from college just got back from North Dakota. Just this we were there all last week and had quite a bit of fun. And first time for me being out there, so it was a big learning opportunity and had a ton of fun. And we shot a lot of ducks, so it was win.
I hear it's great up there. I have not been.
Okay. Yeah. But like I said, a little backstory on this. So just kind of want to pick your brain on kind of what you're seeing out there as far as, kind of any sort of migration update. I know you're kind of the central area of the country. And so, just kind of what are you seeing this time of year for bird numbers and kind of movement
Well, the migration seems to be way behind normal. Okay. I know upper Nebraska, people are really complaining about the lack of ducks. I was actually up in upper Nebraska last weekend, and we did okay, but the sentiment was that just the ducks really haven't shown up at the top part of Nebraska. Now, I know some of the low-lying wetlands have still been pretty good hunting, but it's still been mostly blue-winged teal. I was out on the vet hunt last week, and I'm not a vet, but I try to go out and just film and for fun. And normally, so this was like we're in mid-October. This was like the 17th or 18th we were hunting. And normally during that time, you're going to get a mix of blue wings and green wings and gadwall and pintail. And we still have that mix, but it was probably 98% blue wings. We hardly even saw any green wings. I've only shot one green wing to date. And I'm normally heavy on the blue wings, but this was just unbelievable, the amount of blue wings we saw. In fact, Thomas Hoke was talking about how they were seeing blue wings, or no, maybe it was Jake Maxwell I think it was Jake, that he went up to Canada recently and they were still shooting blue wings up in Canada a couple weeks ago. So that's this crazy heat that we've had, we had that really cold early September, but then it's been really hot since, and the migration seems to be just way behind. Yeah,
that's kind of a little quick story on North Dakota too, is that's kind of what we were seeing too, is just, there was definitely numbers. We saw the big feeds and stuff, but like we were even talking to the guy we rented the place from, and he's a guide out there, and he was saying like, yeah, it's behind. He goes, in about 2 weeks probably it's going to be pretty crazy. So yeah, I think what I'm hearing and kind of what people are thinking is right after Halloween there's a full moon. Okay. So if we get any kind of north wind weather during that full moon time, there'll probably be a really big migration. It's Central Flyway, that Halloween time frame is normally pretty good with a migration, but it may be extremely heavy. I've not shot a mallard yet. I've not shot at a mallard yet. I've seen a few, but very, very, very few. Now, we shot a ton of gadwall up in, a ton. We had one hunt we did really well and cleaned up on gadwall. Nice. Gadwall up in Nebraska, but just not seeing hardly any mallards at all. Yeah, we did well on the green wings in North Dakota, and then we had a push of gadwall kind of come through that later half of that trip, so that was kind of nice. But really quick, I'm a big deer hunter. I'm getting more into duck hunting, so I wanted to pick your brain on the moon thing, because that's kind of a hot button topic on the deer hunting side of thing. Is moon phase, does it affect deer? Kind of talk a little bit quickly about just kind of the moon and migration. Yeah, well, I think that the sentiment is that ducks like to migrate on a full moon. They can just see better. And so anytime you get a full moon, especially mixed with a north wind, you're going to see a much heavier migration than if you get a north wind on a no moon. That's kind of the thought. I'm no expert on migrations. With me, it's like I'm still just basically a weekend and holidays guys, because I'm working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So I don't really like, oh, it's this day, here's the moon, we need to go out. I'm like, I go out when I can go out. I don't have the luxury of like, I've heard people like, well, no, we normally just hunt south winds. It's like, I just hunt when I can go. That's right. I hunt when I get the chance. Yeah, for sure, man. So like this time of year, what are you kind of running for, spreads? Is it pretty minimalistic yet this time of year?
Right now, I'm just starting to put mallards into my spread. So I try to match whatever's in the area. So
Yeah.
during the first weekend of all teal season, we run only teal decoys. And then as
Hmm.
big ducks open up, we'll sprinkle half a dozen pintail, half a dozen gadwall in. And then late October, we'll start sprinkling in the mallards. And then that will transition to more and more heavily mallards until we get to the point where that's basically all we see. I mean, in
Sure.
December, you can see some off ducks, but there's lots of days where the only birds that we see are mallards. There's still some green wings around normally, but so right this last time, I think we went with a dozen mallards, a half dozen gadwall, half dozen pintail, and 2.5 dozen teal, something like that. I don't think we needed the mallard, but it's always nice to have some in there.
Just in case.
I believe that mallard decoys are attractant for every species. In fact, I think a mallard call, I hear a lot of people when they see widgeon, when they see pintail, when they see teal, they go to that species call. They go to a peep or a widgeon. I think a mallard call is the best call to use for all species. I think that
Okay.
that's just me personally. I don't think a lot of other people obviously don't believe that because I hear
Sure.
them using those non-mallard calls, and I just think you get a great reaction out of ducks with mallard decoys and mallard calls, just in general. But yeah, that's what our current decoy spread's looking like.
Nice. So as going down that vein a little bit there, as far as like you kind of looking at, mallards as kind of that safety decoy, like the birds are flying over, they see mallard, like, oh, it's probably good down there kind of thing.
I think so. I mean, they're the dominant, and I saw this. I was thinking about like what are ducks like on the water? Are some of them more aggressive than others? How do they interact species to species? Like if there's a bunch of teal around a bunch of mallards, is it just like, oh, we're all friends, or they kind of have spatial zones? And I saw this. I just started thinking about this because I don't know the answer to it, but we had that decoy spread set up in a way where I was trying to attract gadwalls and pintails. We had the spinners, and then the gadwalls and pintails were the focal point around the spinners, and then the mallards were back off a little bit farther from that, and then the teal were kind of on the interior of it. Teal tend to like to land with teal decoys, I feel like more so than other species do. But I was looking on the video, and I saw a couple teal come in, and they came and landed right in between the mallards. And this teal swam with just inches of this mallard and then popped up. And I was just thinking, I was like, if that teal's acting that way, they must not have any type of territorial behavior when they're on the water. They must not feel like, as a little teal, if I'm around a mallard, he's going to like be territorial like a dog over a dish kind of thing. And I just thought,
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it, and I found it to be interesting. But I think the mallard call, is so loud and can make so much distance also that it's like if you see green winged teals and you start that peep 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 peep, it's such a subtle call. Same thing with a pintail call where it's that trill whistle or the widgeon call. There's such subtle soft calls, and I think maybe that's just the reason. I just think the quacking of a mallard. I mean, you'll get green. All species will break their back and turn on a mallard call sometimes. And so
What's kind of your? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off there.
no, I just like that using mallard calls for all species.
Yeah.
Other than
What's
blue wing
kind
teal, I do blow a blue wing teal call during blue wing teal season. I
There you
specifically
go.
blow a blue wing teal call.
What is your kind of like if you just had to break down like a real quick calling sequence for, if you had 12 to 20 birds kind of flying by you, what's your kind of go-to or old faithful?
That 5 quack sequence, that bop, 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 bop
Yep.
is good. That's just kind of here I'm at. And when you hit the call is important, especially as they're circling and everything. But I think that 5 call is about, for me, is just kind of the go-to best in and out call sequence of it. I mean, you can do 7, you can do 3, you can do quacks, you can do clucks, but I think that you hear that 5 a lot with hens on the water. Just pop, 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 pop. You hear that a lot from hens when you're just listening to them.
And then what would be the one call that you hear guys do too much?
I think that just like your feed chuckle is overrated.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people don't do it quite right. I'm not great at it and I don't use it that much, but there's a call that they make in the air that is a monotone pop, 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 pop. Like it's just straight through. And my understanding is that is a spacing call in the air that mallards use. That's the belief. And people use that a lot, but that's not the call you hear on the water. So if I'm doing it to emulate kind of what they sound on the water, so it's going to be like tick, 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 whack, whack, tick, 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 tick. And with, it's not that tick, 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 tick. It's that I don't think is the feeding call. And a lot of people will still use that call in the decoys. And I just don't think that does very much.
I like it. The insider tip right there. I like that one. And then real quick here before we wrap up, what is one thing that you've learned or a takeaway from this season so far? I know it's early, but.
One takeaway from this season. I don't know if it's from this season, but if you're eating up with this sport and you want to hunt, then you need to travel and expand your season, in a lot of places. And I don't mean like big trips. Big trips are fine, but a lot of places, if you're willing to travel 3 to 6 hours, you can expand your season from, we've got a 72-day season in the Central Flyway. The Mississippi has 60, but I can expand my season into over 120 days with a little bit of driving. And I'm only talking 3 to 6 hours of driving. I can extend that to over 120-day season. And so that's just something that I think more people should think about. Not just hunting in their backyard, in their home zone.
Do you use that a little bit? Do you use that a little bit too to get away from like pressure?
Oh, for sure. I'm trying to think about that. I don't know. I definitely try to get away from pressure, and I do a great job. I don't have a pressure issue. I'm not sure if I would say I travel to get away from pressure. So I said for sure. Let me take that back. Yeah. Pressure is at the forefront of my mind when I'm picking where I'm going to hunt. And I will pick a lesser spot as far as bird numbers and what I've seen if I can control that area better and keep people away, feel like I can hold down a spot better. I'll pick a lesser spot. And so that's on my brain. That's probably one of the number one things that I think about when I decide where I'm going to hunt within a complex itself, not necessarily traveling farther distances to get away. I can get away from pressure. I have been able to get away from pressure pretty much anywhere, almost anywhere. There's a couple complexes that I'm forced to go to because those zones are the only one open for a short period of time. And there are a couple complexes where it's really hard to get away from pressure. But other than those couple, if that is your number one goal, then I find that I can achieve it. And if I can achieve it, I don't know why anyone else can't. I don't have a pressure problem in the Central Flyway. But again, that, like I said, it's my main focus and goal to not hunt around other people. Sure. So I don't drive farther to do it. I just make it more of a priority in my decision making.
Nice. I like it. Well, before I let you go here, I got one just little fun question. What is that one duck that you have yet to shoot that's still on that bucket list?
Black duck.
Black duck.
Yeah, okay. That's my number one. And canvasback is second, but I've shot 3 canvasbacks. So if I could shoot any 2 ducks, first would be a black duck, and second would be a canvasback drake. It'd be 1-2. But yeah, black duck, I would love to kill a black duck.
Okay. Nice. I like it, man. Well, hey, Elliott, I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. Like I said, thanks for hopping on, and good luck this season. Stay safe and shoot straight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good luck to what you're doing.
Thanks, man. Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith in the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.